Start with a little melody. La 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 I la 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 I la 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlik ner v'tzivanu le'adlik ner v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shel Shabbat la 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 la
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Welcome. Good to have everyone here and online as well. This week was Rosh Chodesh Kislev, the beginning of the new month of Kislev. Kislev is a month of Chanukah. So this is a month where we're working towards the light of Chanukah, a month of optimism, of trying to hold on to that faith and to that hope. Amidst the darkness, there's a jar of oil waiting for us. We're going to turn to our first prayer before Kabbalat Shabbat, which is Shalom Aleichem. And this week in the Torah is when we read of Jacob's ladder, of the angels going up and down the ladder. Many different understandings of what that image is about. But one of them is that our whole world is full of divine messengers, bringing news up to the heavens, bringing blessing down to us, but all of life is interconnected. So we have this prayer about the angels of Shabbat who come and go and bring us the special extra soul and spirit of this seventh day. Shalom Aleichem, page 5.
Shalom Aleichem,
Malachei Asharei, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim, Akadosh Baruch. Boachem Shalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim, Akadosh Baruch. Baruchuni leShalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon. Malachei Hamlachim, Akadosh Baruch. Tzedechem leShalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim, Akadosh Baruch.
We begin our Psalms on page 11, Psalm 95. Let us go and sing to Adonai. Let us trumpet praise to our protector. Lechu neranena l'Adonai, nariya letzur yishenu,
נקדמה פניו בתודה, יזמירות נריע לו.
כי אל גדול אדוני, אשרי לו העם והוא עשהו.
Concluding on page 12, Arba'im shana akud b'dor, va'omaram to'e levavhem, vehem lo yadu derachai, asher nishbati v'yapi, im yivon el menuchati. Page 13. La 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 Shiru
l'Adonai Shir Chadash, Shiru l'Adonai Kol Haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai Baruch Shemo, Masu miyom Yeshuato, Sapru Agoyim Kevodo Ve'olamim,
Nizrotal
Ki Gadol Adonai,
Umehulal Norahu, Al Kol Elohim,
Elol Elohei Amim Elim, Adonai Shamayim Asa, Hod ve'adar lefanav, Oz ve'tiferet be'mikdasho, Avul Adonai mishpechot amim, Avul Adonai kavod va'oz, Avul Adonai kevod shemo, Zeu milah,
Uvo lechatzerotav. Ay
Elai,
lay
elai, 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 elai,
לפני אדוני קיווה לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, וימים באמונתו. Page 50. אדוני מלך תגל הארץ, ישמחו חיים רבים.
Please join me responsively on the left-hand side. Adonai reigns, let the earth be glad, and many distant lands rejoice.
Clouds of thick darkness surround the divine. Righteousness and justice secure God's throne. Fire goes before God, consuming besiegers round about.
Flashes of lightning illumine the land, the earth watches and trembles, mountains melt like wax at the approach of Adonai, at the approach of the Master of all the earth.
The heavens tell of God's righteousness, and all the nations see God's glory.
Continue silently all the way to the end of page 16.
Light is sown for the righteous and joy for the upright. Or zaru ala tzadik, uleishre lev simcha, simchu tzadikim b'Adonai, v'yodu lezecher kodsho. Mizmor, page 17. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, כי נפלאות עשה, הושיע לו ימינו, וזרוע קודשו, די אדוני ישועתו, לעיני הגויים גילה צדקתו, זכר חסדו ואמונתו, לבית ישראל ראו כל אפסי הארץ, את ישועת אלוהינו הביאו לאדוני כל הארץ, יצחו ורננו וזמרו, זמרו לאדוני בכינור, בכינור בקול זמרת, בחצוצרות בקול שופר, הריעו לבני המלך אדוני, ירם הים ומלוא תבל ויושבי בה, נערות ימחאו כף, יחד הרים ירדנו, לפני אדוני קיבה, לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, וימים במישרים. Adonai malach ירגזו עמים, יושב קרובים תנות הארץ. On page 19.
אדוני בציון גדול ורמו הכל העמים, ידעו שמו גדול ונורא קדוש הוא. ארז מלך משפטי ואתה כל נטבש.
רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו.
Please rise. We turn to page 21. This is our last psalm before the Chadodi. Acclaim Adonai, children of the divine. Adonai over the great sea, the voice of Adonai with all its power, with all its majesty, shattering the cedars, making the trees dance like calves, but also blessing his people with peace.
מזמור לדוד, הבו לאדוני בני אלים, הבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז, הבו לאדוני כבוד שמו, השתחוו לאדוני ביד קודש, כל אדוני על המים את הכבוד ירים, אדוני על מים, מים רבים, כל אדוני בכוח, כל אדוני ביד הר, כל אדוני שובר ארזים וישבר אדוני את ארזי הלבנון וירגידם כמו עגל לבנון וסיריון כמו בן רמים. כל אדוני חוצב להבות אש, כל אדוני יכיל מדבר, יכיל אדוני מדבר קדש, כל אדוני יכול חיילות ויחסו ובכלו כולו מרכבות. אדוני למה הוא ישב וישב, אדוני מלך לעולם. אדוני עוז לי עמו ייתן, אדוני יברך רמו ושלום. לי 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 לי
Please be seated. We turn to Lecha Dodi, central piyut of our Kabbalat Shabbat service, where we greet the presence of the bride Shabbat on page 23.
Lecha dodi likra kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likra kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, ישמיענו אל המיוחד.
אדוני אחד ושמו אחד,
לשם ולתפארת ולי תהילה. לך דודי לקרא כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקרא כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה לראש מקדם נסוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקרא כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה, קומי ראי מתוך הפכה. רב לך שבט בעמק הבבא, לכו יחמול עלייך חמלה. לך דודי לקרא כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התנערים מעפר קומי, לבשי בגדי תפארתך מעל יד בן ישי בית הלוי. קרב שיקרלה. לך דודי לקרא כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי התעוררי כבאורי, קומי אורי אורי אורי, שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקרא כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לא תבושי ולא תקלמי, מה תשתוכחי ומה תמי, כך יחסו אני עמי ונבנך יראת תהילה. לך דודי לקרא כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Go directly to the last stanza, the last one on page 25, where we rise, turn toward the entrance and greet the bride Shabbat. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, boi chala. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
turn to page 39a. We have our Baruch Hu, our call to worship, and we turn east.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMivorach.
Baruch Adonai Yavorach Leolam
Baruch Adonai
Va'ed.
HaMivorach Leolam Va'ed.
Please be seated, and we turn to our responsive reading. We're in the far left column of page 39a. Beloved are you, eternal God, by whose design the evening falls, by whose command dimensions open up and eons pass away and stars spin in their orbits.
You set the rhythms of day and night, the alteration of light and darkness sings your creating word.
In rising sun and in spreading dusk, creator of all, you are made manifest.
Eternal, everlasting God, of your dominion.
Beloved are you, Adonai, for this hour of nightfall.
Umavir yom mevi laila, uavdil ben yom uven laila, Adonai tzivot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid, yimloch aleinu le'olam ba'ed. Baruch ata Adonai, Hamari Varavim. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael, Amechavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otahanu limad et arkein Adonai Eloheinu, V'shochveinu v'kumeinu, Nasiach
V'chukecha,
v'chukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, U'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, v'yorech yameinu, Uvehem negei yomam v'layla, V'yavatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch ata Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'yavta et Adonai Elohecha, B'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha. Ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha. V'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'regdecha b'derech u'b'shobecha u'kumecha וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
On page 42.
Impress these words of mine upon your heart and upon your soul. Bind them as a sign upon your hand and as a symbol above your eyes. Teach them to your children by speaking of them when you sit in your home, when you walk on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your home and on your gates. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor. למען תזכרו בזה. Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher Hotzeiti Etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot Lachem Lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Emet.
We turn to page 43b. We have a reading, page 43b. You proclaimed the covenant on the seventh day.
You declared it and decreed it. We listened and heard it.
You loved this day. We inherited, delighting in its remembrance.
And began its command with the word, remember Zachor.
From the time you bestowed it, joy filled the hearts of Yeshurun, the people you redeemed.
Securing the cause of righteousness.
You exalted Shabbat as a sign between us forever. In 6 days your world was formed. On the seventh day you rested.
And on this day Israel, your people, rest.
To honor your name, they sing songs of praise to the one deserving of praise.
And joyfully on page 44 we sing, who is like you, Adonai, among the mighty? Who is like you, adorned in holiness? Ay bye bye bim bim bam, yaba bye bye bim bam. Mihi chamocha, vaylim Adonai. Mihi kamocha, nedar bakodesh. Nurati lo tosef eleh. Nurati lo tosef eleh. Ma'alechutecha ra'u vanecha. בוקע ים לפני משה, זרי זרי אנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגלו מיד חזק, ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני. Gal Yisrael.
Page 45.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom V'yamidenu Malkeinu lechaim Uferos aleinu sukat shalom. Ushmor tzeitenu vo'einu lechaim u'shalom me'ata v'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom v'yamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Uferos aleinu sukat shlomecha, baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim.
Please rise.
V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל הודי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועלמה דברה קירותי, וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי לכל בית ישראל. בגלה בגלה, ובזמן קריב, אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, ועל עמל מעלמיה ירבה. ויתברך, וישתבח, ויתפאר, ויתרומם, ויתנשא, ויתהדר, ויתעלה, ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה, בריחו לילה, מן כל ברכתה ושירתה,
תושבחתה ונחמתה,
לדמירן בעלמא.
Turn to our Amidah for Friday nights. It begins on page 47 and we continue silently through to page 52. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'Sarah אתה קידשת את יום השביעי שלך.
איחוד השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם וכל אלוהים היום השביעי
בסדר, היום חי סופייתם ושבט עבודת ביתך אשר סופייתם ובעל מסודר.
צערנה אלוהינו יפות.
תזיין בשבחה אצלם לחנו וכתם. מועד ימינך ומה שיכולנו. שים שלום.
La 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 la. Oh, say shalom,
shalom במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. Amen.
Turn to page 55 for our Kiddush. Please remain standing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava v'ratzon hinhilanu זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen. Please be seated. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. A few weeks ago, I talked to my children, Shalva, who's 8, and my son Adiv, who's 6. They told me of a situation at their school. My son Adiv plays soccer every time at recess. And he said there was these few days last week where all the other kids who were playing soccer started to get very wild and unkind. I said, well, what did you do? He said, well, I went to see my sister Shalva. And I asked her, what should I do? And she told me exactly what to say and what to do. I went back and I did it, and it solved the whole situation. And I thought, wow, this is amazing, right? This is how siblings should be with each other. They should support each other. They should love each other. They should be there in those moments. And of course, this is not always how the book of Genesis and the Torah shows how siblings act with each other. And throughout the book of Genesis, what siblings end up doing is getting caught into rivalries and jealousies. Just last week we saw how the blessing was stolen from Esau by Jacob in that moment of treachery. But there's also other moments that aren't talked about as much, or they're highlighted by the rabbis, that do show the other side and that show us what we're trying to aim for, not only what we're trying to avoid. And there's this beautiful midrash on this week's parsha. And so this week's parsha is how Jacob flees his childhood home and comes to his uncle's home in Padan Aram, far away in Turkey from the Holy Land. And we know that Jacob falls in love with Rachel almost straight away, and he wants to marry her. But his father-in-law, his future father-in-law says, his uncle, well, you can marry Rachel, but you have to work for 7 years. And we know what happens on the evening when he's supposed to get married to her. He's fooled, and he wakes up in the morning, and it's not Rachel, it's Leah. And Rachel, who is said by the Torah that she's beautiful, and Leah, who's only described by the term that she's weak-eyed, but understood by the Midrash, one more beautiful and one less beautiful. And so Laban tells him, right, it is not our custom to marry the younger daughter before the older daughter. You have to work for another 7 years. Oy is right. But there's a question on this I think we all probably have, and that the commentators have had. How could he be fooled after seeing Rachel for 7 years, after knowing who she was? How could Jacob, the patriarch of Judaism, be fooled and be married on the run? And where was Rachel in all this? She knew she was to be married to Jacob. Where was she on this night? And how did all this happen? How could this situation and the qualities that we associate with our patriarchs and matriarchs not come into play a little bit more into this story? And so there's this midrash. So this midrash says that, yes, Rachel and Jacob did love each other, actually, but that Jacob suspected that his uncle Laban was going to do something treacherous and duplicitous. So what did he do? He made of Rachel some because he knew how dark it was, and he knew he might be fooled. This is a midrash, right, on that night. So he made special signs of Rachel where they could tell each other that she was the right one. And they made up these special secret signs. So then it came time for the wedding night and for the wedding, and Rachel was there, and she saw her older sister Leah, who she loved so very much. And she knew her sister's struggles, and she just had this moment where she thought, I need to do something so my sister can also have a husband. So she went and taught Leah all the signs so that she could be there. And so on the wedding night came, Leah knew all the signs. And there's even a midrash that Rachel was under the bed helping to guide Leah with all the signs into this. So in some ways, a very difficult midrash, right? But it's too much for Vladimir. And I haven't even told you the full midrash, but we'll talk about that afterwards. On one hand, our hearts go out to Jacob in this story, and yet I want to put that aside because it just shows, and the rabbis are very aware of this, even more foolery against Jacob and even more reaping what he sowed, right? He fooled, and now he's getting fooled in return, even more fooled according to the midrash. But where the lesson is for me is that yes, siblings can revile each other. Yes, siblings can hate each other and do everything they can in their power to go against them. But siblings are also capable, and we've all seen this in this life. Siblings can go out of their way to do incredible acts of self-sacrifice, sacrificing their own well-being, sacrificing what's best for them, for their brother or sister, for the people they love. And we see this with not Cain and Abel, obviously. And we see this later in the Torah with Moses and Aaron and Miriam, right? These are siblings that they have, they have their bumps like everybody, but they're the partners in redeeming Am Yisrael. They're the partners in redeeming the Jewish people. And Aaron is called by God to give up everything he has and to go and help his brother Moses. And their partnership through all the difficulties and all the trials is so close. And they show so much love to each other, and they embrace this and that. So and of course, in the story of Joseph, once they get through all of what they had to get through at the end, there is really a story of love underneath, how the brothers come together, forgive each other, and there's that sense of redemption. And it's the rabbi's way of showing if this really unusual midrash, but trying to show what we should be doing for each other, what we should be doing for our brothers and sisters, what we should be doing for Achenu Kol Beit Yisrael, for our brothers and sisters of the house of Israel, what we should be doing for all the Jewish people and for all of humanity. And that's not getting into situations of rivalry and of jealousy with each other, but of trying to be supportive, of self-sacrifice, of trying to see the good in each other and being willing to go the extra mile for them. And what a beautiful vision that is. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Please rise for Aleinu, page 56.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר ראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, לגאול עלינו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגולי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אין עוד, אין עוד, אין עוד, אין עוד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד ושמו
Turn to our mourners, Kaddish, page 58. This week we are observing the following yortzites in our community: Eleanor Bass, Charles H. Berman, Gertrude Coletti, Max Dubin, Burton Frankel, Jack J. Friedman, Harry Gaines, Dora Garland, Adolf Ginsberg, Ann K. Eisenberg Golden, Sarah Goralnik, Renee Henkin, Fanny Hurwitz, Mark Hurwitz, Louis Israel, Lillian Katzen, Harold Crowley, Albert Levin, Joe Mann, Herman M. Melnick, Judd Miller, Nathan M. Nemirovsky, I. Chaim Pomeranz, Samuel Posen, Carol Retsky, Herman Roth, Louis Rubin, Phyllis Rudder, Gertrude Rusnak, Samuel Solnitsky, Robert Saperstein, Chaim Victor Savitsky, Solomon Schechter, Alfred Schmidt, Solomon Schmidt, Port Savitsky, Selden, Rose Chapin, Joseph Silver, Ira Singer, Martin Schreier, Sandra Sunfor Fulsher, Sarah Tabachnik, Pearl Tesler, Annie Wolf, Gerald Zokin. If you're observing a yahrzeit or in mourning, please rise and join me in the words of the Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabba, be'alma divra kirutei, וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ועולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה קדוש ברכתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלום רב מן שמיה בחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו
Amen.
A few short announcements this evening. We have our services tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Please join us. Coming up, our next big event is December 15th. We have a magic show. That's 3 p.m., I believe. There'll be a silent auction in a bar, and this is for adults. And before that morning, we have a Jewish toolkit session. I'll be teaching on how to pay a shiva call and the laws of mourning, and how that's customarily done and how it's described in the sources. We have more information on our website for all of our upcoming programs. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Let's conclude our service with Adon Olam on page 211. Nice, calming melody. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem kol Yitzil Nivra Li'et Nasa V'chefzo kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra V'yacharei Kichlot Akol Livado Yimloch Nora V'hu Ayav V'hu Aveh V'hu Yiyeh V'tifara V'hu Echad V'yein Sheni V'am Shelo Li'arbira V'li Reshit V'li Tachlit V'lo ha'oz v'ha'am Yisra V'hu Eli v'chai go'ali V'tzur chevli v'etzara V'hu nisi u'manos li Minat kosi b'yom ekra V'yado avkid ruchi V'yedishan v'yayira V'imruchi geviati Adonai li v'lo ira.
Please rise for our concluding bracha. Kadosh Baruch Hu, Holy One, blessed be He on this Shabbat of the portion of Vayetze. Teach us to see the beauty of the value of brotherhood and sisterhood, of all the Jewish people, of all those who surround us, of all of humanity, to strive for understanding, goodwill, and peace, to work together to shepherd our world to justice, fulfillment, and well-being for all. And let us say, Amen.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
Adonai bless and protect you.
Ya'ir Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May Adonai's countenance shine upon you. May Adonai bestow kindness upon you.
Yisra Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May Adonai's countenance be lifted towards you. May Adonai grant you peace. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Everyone at home, Shabbat
Thank you for
Shalom.
joining.
So we don't face this way because there's a Christmas tree there.
We're the only ones, but we're
I
gonna
think
bless
we're
the
the only
bread.
ones.
Ruach atah